I think I'm going to try to connect my computer to my monitor with an Ethernet cable. More specifically, I want to connect it over 7 meters of distance. And if it works, I want to show you how you can make your own 7-meter long USB extender cable for practically nothing out of scrap. This is the kind of thing that might be useful if you have an awkwardly placed USB port, or maybe you want to use one of those USB power adapters, but they just don't have enough reach. So how do we do this? Well, let's start by looking at a normal USB cable and figure out what signals need to be sent down this Ethernet cable. A standard USB 2.0 cable can carry data at up to 480 megabits per second, which is plenty fast for most applications. The USB protocol uses a relatively low voltage of 5 volts. So these are the two main challenges we need to overcome. We need to send high-speed serial data over an Ethernet cable, and we need to do it while stepping up the voltage from 5 volts to something that will work over longer distances. Luckily for us, there's a whole industry of people who have already solved this problem and made products that we can buy to help us out. And the first one we're going to look at today is called a USB over Ethernet adapter. These adapters typically cost somewhere around $10 and are available in various configurations, such as USB-A to Ethernet, USB-C to Ethernet, and USB-A to USB-C. You can choose whatever configuration you need, depending on your setup. We're going to be using this USB-A to USB-C version of the adapter, and its PCB layout is very similar to its bigger brother, the USB-C to Ethernet version. There's quite a bit packed into this little PCB. On the USB side, we have the USB connector, and right next to it, we have the 5-volt power supply circuitry. Next, we have the main IC, which is responsible for converting between USB and Ethernet protocols. It's a custom IC from an American company called, and next to it, we have an external power supply socket for our 5-volt micro USB power adapter. Finally, we have an Ethernet connector and some more circuitry to match the impedance of the Ethernet cable. This circuit is all built around the main IC, which converts between USB and Ethernet. It's able to do this because it contains both a USB protocol and a gigabit Ethernet protocol. By combining these two protocols together, it's able to simulate the behavior of a USB device, even though it's sending and receiving data over Ethernet. We also need some way to power the USB device, since it only runs off of 5 volts. The solution is to step up the 12 volts from the barrel jack using a DC to DC converter to 5 volts. This is a common method of powering USB devices from an external power supply, and it's how many of those portable power banks do it too. Let's see if this adapter actually works by connecting it to my laptop and my monitor. Since I'm connecting directly to my laptop, I don't need any extra power, so I can leave the barrel jack unplugged. If we unplug and replug the USB cable a few times, we should see the drive letter change on my computer, and yep, there it is. Now let's connect my monitor to the USB over Ethernet adapter and see if it turns on. It's working. Now we know it works with a laptop, but will it work over 7 meters of cable? We can test this by using a cheap USB extension cable and a network cable tester. If we plug in the USB extension cable into the adapter, we can measure the length of the cable using this tool. This particular tester costs around $10 and goes up to 10 gigabits per second. The reason why we need this special tester is because a normal USB cable has a different impedance than an Ethernet cable. Using a normal USB cable with an Ethernet adapter is possible, but you may experience signal loss or jitter due to the mismatch in impedance. A network cable tester, like this one, is a cheap way to test and build USB over Ethernet cables without worrying about this issue. Using this method, we get a total cable length of 6.9 meters, which is close enough to the advertised 7 meters that I'm calling it a win. It worked and all for the cost of a $10 adapter. Pretty cool, but there's a lot of waste in a product like this. Most of the board is taken up by the USB connector and power supply. If we could get rid of those, we could save quite a bit of money. Can we do that? The answer is yes. Instead of buying an adapter with a USB-A connector, we can simply solder our own USB connectors onto an adapter with an Ethernet connector. This requires a bit more work, but we can save quite a bit of money doing it this way. Let's take apart this adapter and de-shield the USB-C connector. After that, we can unscrew the PCB from the case and remove the unused USB-A connector. This adapter would be useless without the extra electronics required to power it, so we can remove them and desolder the barrel jack. We'll also need to remove the coax cable from the barrel jack since we won't need it anymore. Before we move on, I want to give a big shout out for letting me use their X-ray machine. With everything desoldered, we can now install our new USB-C connector. I'm using a USB-C receptacle with integrated mounting flange. All that's left to do now is reassemble everything and we're done. But does it work? Let's find out. We'll connect up our homemade adapter and use our network cable tester again. Yep, it still works. Now let's hook it up to our 7-meter extension cable and see if the monitor still works. Everything seems to be working fine. Looks like we've successfully made our own 7-meter USB extender cable. If you want to make one of these yourself, then be sure to check out the link in the description for the exact parts I used. Making this cable ourselves saved us the cost of the USB interface on the other side, and we only really need one of these adapters per project. So if you need multiple 7-meter cables, then it starts to make sense to make them yourself. This was a very easy project that didn't require much time or skill, but you do need access to a soldering iron and some basic hand tools. There's a few things I'd like to try in the future. One thing would be to experiment with twisted pair Ethernet cables and see how they compare in terms of signal quality and jitter. Twisted pair cables are typically cheaper, easier to work with, and they come in longer lengths compared to coax cables. So it would be great if they worked well for USB over Ethernet applications. Another thing I'd like to try is to make a USB-C to USB-C adapter. These are typically more expensive because they don't need any extra electronics to power the USB-C connector. They would also be smaller and more flexible, but they're a bit harder to manufacture. Maybe I'll make a video about that in the future. So what can we do with a 7-meter long USB cable? Well, you can use it to connect a USB device that's far away from a USB port. For example, if you have an audio interface that came with a 2-meter USB cable, you could use this technique to make a 9-meter long cable. Or maybe you have a security camera that needs a longer USB cable. Here's another application where this technique could come in handy. You could also make a custom USB extension cable. Many devices come with ridiculously short USB cables, and sometimes you can't replace them because they're hard-coded into the device itself. In situations like this, you could make a custom extension cable with your favorite connectors. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider hitting that like button. And if you want to see more content like this, then hit that subscribe button. I hope you learned something in this video, and I hope you're inspired to make something yourself. Until next time, happy tinkering!